going on, everybody out there? This is Popular Stranger, and we are back at you again today with another Madden 24 Ultimate Team video. In today's video, we got Team of the Week predictions for Week 8 in MUT 24. Now, if you guys enjoyed this video, if you like it, if it helps you out, make sure to go ahead and click that thumbs up button. Shows a lot of support on the channel, helps the videos get noticed. Also, if you're brand new here, you're searching on YouTube for MUT 24 content, whether it's how to make coins, how to get free players, how to build your Ultimate Team, you found the right channel for everything. Stay a while, click that subscribe button, turn that notification bell on as well so you guys are alerted when we drop additional videos. Let's get right on into it real quick with Most Feared. We got part 4 dropping later this afternoon. The cards have been revealed. I posted them all over on my Twitter. If you want to see the attributes and who got cards, we're going to wait for that content to drop to put out a separate video on it once it's in game, including the free 89 overall mystery player. But we got Team of the Week predictions for week number 8. This should be the final week of 90 OVR Team of the Week cards. If you take a look at the content schedule for this week, we got the Angry Runs and Team of the Week players tomorrow, and then the day after on Thursday, we have the All Madden Promo Part 1. A lot of people, including myself, expect these cards to go up to 91 OVR, so Team of the Week should follow suit starting next week for week number 9. So if you want to try to pre-build any Team of the Week cards, are going to be coming out on Wednesday. You can somewhat do it. If you go into any of these 90 OVR champion sets, you're going to see that you need 4 87s, but they need to be from that specific week. So for last week, you needed 87 overalls from week number 7, and then you can put any 83s in for the remainder of the set. You can also take a bunch of 83s, save them to build out 87s for week number 8. Once that content drops, you're gonna have to buy a lot of cards to do so, but there is a way to pre-build the cards, and we're gonna have some pretty big names, or at least potentially some pretty big names to get Team of the Week cards. Let's start at quarterback, and a lot of people are going to get snubbed. Let's just keep it honest here. A lot of big names, a lot of good players had a really good week 8 when it came to the quarterback position. We're going to breeze through them, but we start with Sam Howell, who already has an 85 overall Team of the Week card. So I want to mention him because he deserves to be mentioned, but I don't think he actually gets a card. Against my Eagles, he had 397 passing yards and 4 touchdowns, but when it came down to the clutch performance, he kind of came up short, missed 2 throws, and had an interception, and the Eagles won. GG's in the chat. Jalen Hurts in that same game, he had himself a day as well. Best game of the season for him, 319 passing yards and 4 passing touchdowns, 2 of them to A.J. Brown. Dak Prescott, got to give him his flowers as well. I think he played only 3 quarters as well because it was a blowout. He had 304 passing yards and 4 touchdowns. I know a lot of people associate Cowboys players with the Harvest promo because they play on Thanksgiving and think that Dak might get a Harvest card instead of a Team of the Week, so there's a chance that could happen. Then we have Justin Herbert on Sunday Night Football, 304 passing yards and 3 passing touchdowns in that game. He only has his core elite, so he certainly could deserve an upgrade. Same thing with Joe Burrow, who hasn't really had a great season so far, fighting through some injuries, but a huge win against the 49ers, 283 passing yards and 3 touchdowns. And then we have Will Levis, who does have that 84 overall rookie premier card. Other than that, he has a core rookie 77. He came into the game, substitute for Ryan Tannehill, 238 passing yards and 4 touchdowns. Honestly, I wouldn't be mad if they gave him the 90 overall because his rookie premier had Slinger 1 release, and I thought had a really good release in general. He'd have pretty average speed, but otherwise it could be a really, really good card if he happens to get a higher OVR. I think he gets one, but they might make it one of the lower overall elites. But all of those quarterbacks certainly deserving. I'm sure only one of them is going to get a card. Let me know down below in the comment section who you think it is. Running back, Angry Runs player is all but confirmed on Good Morning Football, which is on NFL Network. Kyle Brandt selected Jahmyr Gibbs as the Angry Runs Player of the Week, so he should be getting a 90 OVR card. He had 152 yards on Monday Night Football, so Kyle Brandt is going to force EA to put a good Monday Night Football performance in Team of the Week. 152 yards on the ground and 1 touchdown. He looked really good. The big question is, will he get running back apprentice? If so, this could be one of the top 3 running backs in the game. At wide receiver, and with all the really good quarterback performances, I still could see CeeDee Lamb getting the 90 overall Offensive Player of the Week. He had 12 catches for 158 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns. This one seems a little bit more likely, but again, Cowboys plan Thanksgiving Harvest promo upcoming. Does EA have to make a choice between Dak and CeeDee Lamb? That's kind of how it feels to me, but we'll see. And then one other wide receiver worth mentioning is going to be Rashid Shaheed. He had 3 catches for 153 yards and 1 touchdown. I think it would be kind of cool to give A.J. Brown a record breaker card. The only problem with that is giving him a 90 OVR would only be a +1 to his 89 overall Gridiron Guardians card he already has. But if you guys were unaware, he broke the record 6 straight games with 125 plus receiving yards. Maybe if he can keep it up for another week, they give him a card to celebrate that once we hit to the 91 OVR cards. Let's talk about defensive players. Not a lot of big name performances. We got George Karlaftis. He had 2.5 sacks, 1 forced fumble, and 7 total tackles. He has this 81 OVR GG Gridiron Guardians card that I think could have got bumped up to an 84 overall for free or pretty easily. So will they give him another card? If so, I would assume it would probably only be an 87 OVR. You guys may have noticed it in the thumbnails. I think this is going to be the Defensive Player of the Week. Jeffery Simmons currently has that core 84 overall card. In Week 8, he had 2 sacks, 1 forced fumble, and 6 total tackles. Not as good as Karlaftis, but probably more needing of an upgrade than Karlaftis, so that's why I went that way. And this is probably their other option at a 90 OVR on defense. This is going to be Logan Wilson for the Bengals in that win against the 49ers. 11 total tackles and 1 interception. And then finally, we have Kyle Duggar, who had himself a pretty good game as well. 9 total tackles. They did lose this game, but he could still get a card. 9 total tackles, 1 sack, and 1 interception. There were 20 players in the NFL this week in Week 8 that got at least 1 interception. So there's a lot of people that maybe could grab one of those Team of the Week cards for just simply getting an interception in the game. But those are all of our picks for this year. Let's go over LTDs. Remember, the format for most of this year, excluding 1 week, has been players who are currently in the NFL who had a good Week 8 performance in a prior year. And we had that log jam of quarterbacks that could deserve a card from this year's performance. Well, back in last year's season, 2020, Jalen Hurts had another 4 touchdown game, so maybe he gets an LTD for this one. 285 passing yards and 4 touchdown passes in 2022 against the Steelers. A.J. Brown was on the receiving end of 3 of those 4 touchdowns. And then the other potential one from 2022 would be Tony Pollard, who had 131 rushing yards last year and 3 touchdowns all in 1 game. Adrian Phillips back in 2021 had 2 interceptions and 1 touchdown. I think if they give Duggar a card, they might not give Phillips a card. They could, but I just kind of feel like, 2 players with higher OVR cards in the same promo that's so limited is likely not something that could happen. But hey, you never know with EA. And Patrick Mahomes, I mean, he certainly needs an upgrade. This one would be great because he had a terrible game in this season, Week 8. And if they gave him the LTD, this would be for his 2020 performance. 416 passing yards and 5 touchdowns. But my favorite reasoning or best thing about that happening is so many people who are still confused, even though it's been this way for several years and several weeks, would still be very confused why Mahomes is getting an LTD after him having a terrible game against the Broncos, because they still don't know how LTDs work. So I'm actually kind of rooting for that to happen, but usually with Mahomes, they're going to save him for a bigger promo and not Team of the Week. Also in 2020, Delvin Cook, who's now with the Jets, but back when he was a Viking, had 163 rushing yards and 3 touchdowns. Pretty good performance, a little bit better than Tony Pollard's back in 2022 that we mentioned. And then the final one, and I really do think the LTD is going to end up being a defensive player because the offensive guys had such a good week with CeeDee Lamb and all the quarterbacks out there, and angry runs is going to be Jahmyr Gibbs. So I really do think the LTD is going to be on the defensive end, and this one kind of seems likely as well. Back in 2019, we had Nick Bosa, 3 sacks and an interception in the same game. And there you have it. Those are our predictions for Week 8 of Team of the Week, which is dropping tomorrow afternoon about 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And remember, tomorrow morning on GMM, all the players will be revealed. So once that happens, we'll drop a video going over all of them. Let me know who I left off the list, who got snubbed down below in the comment section. Thank you for watching. My name is Popular Stranger. I'm out. Peace.